right, this is probably going to require at least a little bit of explanation because we just did a very serious hour about serious subject matter that involves a Florida Panthers coach possibly no longer being the Florida Panthers coach by the time you're listening to this, if you're listening to it later in the day, because the Florida Panthers at the center of a bad scandal here, and we treated it very seriously. And there will be video going out shortly that will not have an explanation for why it is that I am head to toe gold. And you guys walked in the middle of that very serious segment. So while we're talking to David Sampson, Chris Cody and Jessica and Stugotz are walking into the room, and they don't know why I'm dressed the way that I am. But what did you think I was dressed as, Stugotz? Because I am paying one of my grid of death penalties today.
Something other than the Heisman Trophy. I mean,
I was thinking Tin Man.
Yeah.
I was thinking C3P overweight. Market fat joke.
I had to go gold, though, because in these delicate times.
Yeah, bronze would have been a bad decision. So thank you, Dan.
But it is not a flattering look. I feel like what I look like is a horribly overweight. I don't know. Is it a brand? I feel like I'm a fisherman and it's wet outside and I'm gold, but I'm a heavy set fisherman. Is what I think I look like. I do not look anything like the Heisman Trophy. This is the Heisdan Trophy.
Well, the Heisman Trophy is supposed to represent peak athleticism, Dan. So you're already fighting a losing battle.
The high cholesterolsman.
Keep working on it.
We'll get there.
High blood pressure.
That was terrible. Yeah.
Right.
Do you have
That's
a
as kind as
football
I
or
can be.
anything? I mean,
I do have a football, but it's still gold and it has not dried. And so I'm getting everything here. As with all of these penalties, my glasses, my iPhone now has gold all over it.
The highs, man, am I fat?
The highs, hungry man.
the Weidman.
No, I'm upset with you.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we didn't do better than C3P overweight. Like you're not going to do
Give me
better
time.
than that.
We always
No, keep
try.
working on it.
I
we will.
don't believe that better than that will be achieved. Mike's in an awfully good mood today because the Miami Heat dragged the net. And Stugotz, I was really dumb in some of my analysis of the Brooklyn Nets because the Brooklyn Nets, I still think, are a hugely interesting team, the most interesting one in sports.
Right.
But when analyzing whether or not they could win the championship without Kyrie Irving, and I believed days ago that they could have.
Spam Newton.
I did not account for the idea that the rules will make James Harden just another person because they're changing all the rules. I'd simply forgotten that they were going to rule to get James Harden the hell out of the MVP conversation.
Ham Bradford.
Cake or Mayfield.
Tim Tebow.
But these are just, we've done this before. Dirk Nowitzki.
Now with Heisman winners exclusively. You're not getting the game.
No, but
You're not getting it.
So we're going, you could just say I look like Josh Heupel, how he actually looks
Desmond
now.
Coward.
No.
Cow.
No.
You got to go Eddie Gorge.
Cow.
No.
Eddie Gorge is what we're
Eddie
thinking of.
Gorge is great.
Still not better than C3P overweight.
Huh. We'll get there.
All right. You're going to keep thinking of Heisman Trophy winners.
You were saying?
Well, I'm trying to have a Heat conversation, but you guys are all going through lists of Heisman winners at the same
Rashawn
time.
Salami.
Robert Griffin the Gourd.
Wow, Chris Cody. Robert
I'm
Griffin.
just going to support people because they didn't support mine. You know, I'm going to support yours even though it was bad.
Salami was good.
Thank you.
Vicky Williams.
Oh, that's great.
Uh-oh, here comes fancy
Mark
lad.
Ingram crackers.
That's where you stumbled because he was trying not to be cruel. He didn't even want in this game.
He didn't want to do it.
was
He's too
being
nice.
to everybody. He was like,
Right.
oh, come on. Come on. In 2021, we're not allowed to make fun of these things anymore. Nope, this one's still allowed. It's the one place You're allowed
Notice I have not contributed.
You're allowed to, not yet, but I've seen you looking at a list. I've seen you looking at Heisman lists over there, seeing if you can get in on the fun.
Dickie Williams.
We already.
Steve Martin
Roy,
also.
go walk to the ocean, Roy. Go walk to the ocean.
I'm
Get
sorry.
out
I'm
of
trying to. I'm editing the local hour.
I'm
I'm
so
sorry.
glad when it's not
me.
I know it's an
Harry.
exciting
Get out
time.
of here. Get out
We're all
of here.
Googling the same stuff. But come on, man.
Get out
Sorry,
of here.
I apologize.
Stop apologizing and go walk to the ocean. Get out of here.
Wow.
Theater of the Mind.
Royce.
Not Theater of the Mind. Get out of here. Lewis, you follow him, not Theater of the Mind. Dude, you can't get in there with Dickie Williams seconds after it's been offered, and it wasn't that good the first time after limping in with Robert Griffin the Gourd.
It was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good.
I don't know why I'm still hearing your voice on the microphone. Get out of here. Nobody wants to talk Heat with me. Nobody.
We're all looking through the Heisman
No,
Trophy.
okay,
winner
well,
list.
How did Desmond Coward stay? I mean, why is Chris still here? Sorry, Chris.
Let's talk Heat, Dan, because
Desmond Coward was fine, I
no,
felt.
Desmond
Hey,
Coward,
Coward,
doesn't.
no.
No, Desmond Coward does
Howard
not fit.
Cow.
Well, we get it.
Oh,
Like
the cow.
Chris
emphasis-
Coward?
But you got to put the emphasis on cow.
amazing.
what was difficult about this?
Because coward means something else entirely. You're emphasizing the cow, which
I
once
accept
again,
your
I'm down
apology.
for. Yeah, look, in the self-improvement of Mike Ryan, admitting when you're wrong. A little feedback though, you got to emphasize cow.
That's
in
true.
that spot.
Cow herd. Right.
I thought the context saved you there. I just thought it was that bad a joke either way. It wasn't a matter. I didn't think it was a matter of delivery. I thought it was too overt, the cow joke.
Derek O'Henry Bar.
You can't go cow. You have to go like Danny Heifer.
Like instead of
Warfel?
Warfel?
Yeah.
No, Jesse, you
No.
can join Roy.
You don't have
No,
the
but-
authority.
But Warfel, like you have full.
Full.
You have
like,
full.
Full's right there.
Full.
Well,
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Chris Wing Key Lime Pie.
Hey.
I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be making
Again,
this vlog.
This is everyone out of here. I told you when we started, no one will do better than C3P overweight, and you guys are going to all end up in the ocean. That's what's going to happen. Every last one of you is going to end up in the ocean because the audience is going to be great at this. The audience is going to be better than we are at this.
I think of key lime pie as like a lighter pie. I don't really think of it as fat. A diet pie.
You think of it as a healthy pie?
Yeah, of all the pies.
There is no such thing.
Put it
I'm
on
just
the
saying,
poll.
it has lime in it. Come
Put
on.
it on the poll at Batard Show. Does the key lime pie feel like a healthy pie to you?
The main
line does
ingredient
help.
is
Like a
sweetened
diet pie.
condensed milk.
Here you go. Jess agrees with me.
No, that's not what that was.
She said wheat.
And condensed milk.
Sweetened condensed milk is one of the main ingredients in key lime pie.
No,
It is
that-
a custard.
No, but what is beautiful about what Chris just did there is that is the rationalization of the fat man.
That's right.
Honey, I'm eating healthy. I'm having,
I always have two slices of key lime pie for some reason.
because it's healthier.
It feels right.
Because it's like it's like the sorbet of the pie kingdom is what's happening
Nailed
there.
it.
Mike, the Nets though,
They stink.
it's not just that they stink, is if you take Kyrie Irving away, Kyrie Irving is in the middle of nuking their team. If you also make the rules changes so that James Harden is just a guy who's floating around on the perimeter going to get you 14 points with a pot belly.
It's amazing. He scores 15 points a game with these rule changes.
I don't hate to say I told you so on this one. I called this shit out when they announced this.
You
rule was
actually
coming.
did,
He
yeah.
was the main
Yep.
target.
Mhm.
That was the freaking window for the Nets last season. James Harden is going to have to reshape his game, and part of that is reshaping his body too.
That's something that Steph Curry brought up in preseason. He goes, I can't do this anymore. And he was like complaining to the officials. I think Trae Young has talked to Monty McCutcheon, who's the head of officiating in the NBA. Like, what can I do? Can I still slow down in the paint? But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of guys. I mean, frankly, Dwayne Wade no longer being in the league is kind of fortunate about this one because he would get guys with pump fakes all the time. But the up fake leading to 10 points a game is gone now for James Harden. And what it's allowed opposition to do is close him down, be closer to him because you don't have to be scared of drawing fouls. And so he's not blowing by people anymore because he's being guarded tightly.
Also, he's just not really capable of blowing by people if he has to reshape his game because he has to rely on an athleticism that isn't necessarily there compared to other two guards in the league. I don't think it's a hot take to say we've seen the best of James Harden in the NBA in terms of dominance. That doesn't necessarily mean he could still be very good.
scare you though with that fake.
Yeah, he
like
did
that.
with
Like
Duncan
that's why
Robinson.
defenders respected him is because he can get you at the fake, so you don't go tight to him and he can go around you and screens work more effectively. Now, if there's no threat of that, his game is kind of neutered.
I need to rewind here because as Mike goes through his new epiphany of I can admit when I'm wrong, which doesn't apply to wants to gloat when he's right. But you don't get an I told you so for pandemic combined with rule changes to nuke the threesome of, with injuries you might. But
these were all variables that I took into consideration.
A pandemic.
Yeah. The fact that he's not going to be in shape.
We at the time, I don't believe we knew.
This was around the bubble. He was still with Houston when the bubble came around. This team wasn't formed. Like the pandemic was fresh and online.
I think Dan's saying the pandemic making him fat.
No.
I'm talking
he
about
was fat before the pandemic.
This team disintegrating this way could not. Kyrie Irving sitting out.
I'll push back on that. Part of when they put this team together, we're like, well, how's this going to work? They're all kind of alphas, ball dominant, and they're all kind of quirky and eccentric. How is that combination of personality?
4 games into the season.
Do you get to be right for 2-2? Do you get to be right on the Nets?
I think we were right with the postseason and calling out some of the injuries. We were questioning health. We were questioning personality. We were questioning rule changes. We were questioning where these guys are in their career. Have we seen the best of all of them? That didn't necessarily ring true with Kevin Durant, who bounced back from that injury better than I think anyone we've ever seen. But these were all variables that went into, this still may be good enough to win a championship, but a lot of things have to work right. And any single one of these things that were taken into account can go wrong. We saw that already once in the playoffs. The injuries already reared its ugly head. And now the rule changes, injuries, and eccentric personalities are rearing their ugly head. They got a lot of problems. Do they have the talent to overcome all of it? Maybe, but right now it's not looking that way.
4 games in. I mean, we are 4 games in, and perhaps the Heat are really good. Perhaps
they can.
They're the best defensive team in the NBA.
Okay,
and that's not just reading into the stats. That's what my eyes tell me. This is a specially gifted defensive team.
The funny thing about it, though, Stugotz, it's why I'm already wrong at 2-2. I'm already wrong. But Mike does not get to be right just yet because Kyrie Irving can come back a hero.
Okay, but the other variables are at play still.
Yes, but he can come back a hero, and if it's Kyrie's not going to be afflicted with some of the junk that afflicts James Harden. Kyrie might get hurt, but he might be the best ball handler around the rim that we have ever seen. He will not be deterred.
No, he's got other junk to him. Injury history and his personality, the fact that it could go sideways with him at any moment. He wasn't available to them in the playoffs already. When he was very good. Look, they can overcome all of it. I'm going to hedge my bets and say, look, with Kevin Durant as your best player, you've always got a shot at a title. But this is very early in the process. And literally everything that we said outside of injury concerns with Kevin Durant have popped up.
It's not everything. It's more, Mike. You can't account for Kyrie sitting because of a pandemic because he doesn't want to get vaccinated because he wants to be a voice for the voiceless.
I love that anti-Kyrie shit. Yeah, you can account for Kyrie just simply not playing.
I will not account for Kyrie being Kyrie.
Yes, you can. You can. Mike's right.
Kyrie blowing the thing up was on the bingo card.
Exactly right.
I will not allow.
And it was only 7-1.
No,
it was only 7-1. No. Our friends at DraftKings can back me up. It was only Kyrie blowing the whole thing up was not the biggest long shot.
I will not allow what has happened to Kyrie Irving for anyone within the sound of my voice to allege that they could have predicted it.
He did it last year. Did it in the bubble. This is the 3rd consecutive season where he's just been nah.
I love Durant's quote. They asked him, "Are you mad?" He's like, "What's mad gonna do?" It's like, he went right past that. It's like it's not gonna change his mind. Like, okay, I'm gonna be mad at Kyrie Irving. Like he's already nuking everything. Like we built this together. I hitched my wagon to him. I could have done it with anybody after Golden State, and I went with the looniest. Like I said to myself, I'm going to marry the most eccentric guy in the NBA.
At times last season, when they really had it cooking, which was never with all 3 of them, we thought that any combination of 2 of those 3 superstars could probably be the best team in the East. And at times we saw that. But it's very clear that the combination that hurts them a lot right now is not having Kyrie Irving as part of it, because if you're counting on James Harden in a new NBA with a new rule book, older in his career, not the most athletic, still working himself back into shape. And at this point, I've seen him out of shape longer than I've seen him in shape, quite frankly. I'm not necessarily sure this inefficient James Harden, who can't make up for those inefficiencies at the line, is a good running mate for Kevin Durant at this point, or at least good enough.
Maybe not, but they were a shot away from beating the defending NBA champions. I mean, they were a toe away from beating them.
With Harden
Yes.
not right. With Harden
And
in
no
the
Kyrie.
hammy.
Right.
Yeah, with a hammy.
Yeah.
And a hamstring injury.
With a ham sandwich. He was playing with you could get one at La Sandwicheria. It's called a hammy. He was playing with both a hamstring that was injured and a ham sandwich in one of his hands.
Jim Plumpkett.
All right, now you're getting it. I'm proud of you. It's a testament to Kevin Durant's greatness that we're all hedging it. And I've learned to not bet against him.
And Kyrie's greatness too, because if Kyrie
and a more wide open East.
Kyrie can come back, Mike. If you're the Miami Heat,
He could be the savior.
if you're the Miami Heat, I think you might be more scared of them than the Bucks, even in this weird, inconsistent state, because the Bucks can only throw one star at you, and
you can foul him,
and and you could foul him, and you could play off him, and I think the defending champions scare you less. It sounds like a stupid thing to say from C3P Overweight, who just told you his analysis 4 games ago was terrible because I didn't account for the rules making it so that James Harden will not be able, alone with Kevin Durant, to make that a champion.
Gino Croqueta.
Give me a hug.
Around here, Halloween means only one thing.
Don't say it.
We associate Halloween.
Are you serious?
He's here.
No way.
Yes, he's
What?
here.
Not him.
Yes,
Get
yes,
out of
he is
here.
here.
This is
You're
a joke.
lying. You
I'm not joking.
are
guy.
lying.
No, we
For
got
Halloween.
him past the protocols and here to bring in Halloween.
No.
Yes. Yes,
No.
yes. Tim Legler.
What?
Tim Legler. Tim Legler is here.
Monsters and ghosts.
Now, unfortunately, he is not here by video, and unfortunately, he is not going to be doing Halloween this year.
What?
So while I'm enthusiastic about Tim Legler, he's not doing well. Tim, everyone's very disappointed now.
You can't be the greatest at Halloween and skip a Halloween. You can't do it.
I think you're right, and I think
listen. If I'm not mistaken, Michael Jordan took off 2 years and came back and was still the greatest.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I think I'm throwing it out there. Look, all this is going to mean is obviously a return unlike we've never seen in the history of Halloween at the Legler household next year. But circumstances this year, and Dan and I talked about it a little bit, have dictated that there will be no Halloween celebration at our house this year because of particular circumstances.
So, Tim, you're suspended from Halloween for gambling?
I was not suspended from Halloween, but I will tell you this. I would tell you this. Okay, so part of it involved a move, like a geographical move. The property that we've had for the last 14 years, we no longer own. We sold that property. It was a tremendous layout for Halloween celebration, and we moved. And the second part of it is, I am an expectant father again, and it's going to take place
Congratulations. Good job, Legs.
yes.
over Thanksgiving weekend. We will be welcoming another Legler into the mix, and so as a result of the two things, the property we bought to replace the one we've used for the last 14 years is certainly Halloween ready. It's going to be awesome next year, but we're not going to be at that property in Florida because we are going to be up in Jersey and waiting for the delivery of our child. So that's why there's going to be no Halloween decorations set up at the Florida property. But next year, we're coming back in a huge way. And by the way, I've had a chance now to really check out this new community we bought into, and they don't go real heavy, man. There's not much in there. This one house thinks they're doing it right. They have no idea what is coming into their community next year.
He's talking smack already.
Yes,
I love it.
This neighborhood is not prepared for the unholy fury going to be unleashed by a Legler who's been denied a Halloween by his wife who doesn't have the right priorities, getting pregnant the wrong time of year.
completely agree with that, by the way.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you.
Tim, did
Middle
you?
of football season, too, for
It's
goodness
kind of
sake.
on
Come
you too, Lex.
You were participating too, Legler.
It takes two.
Tim, did your Halloween decorations raise the level of your neighborhood? Like, did all of a sudden the rest of the neighborhood start taking Halloween more seriously?
Oh my goodness, yeah, they did. It's so weird. Like, so the place that you guys came out to a couple years ago, at first it was like, yes, it blew everybody away, and then everybody started to up their game, particularly like our end of the community. And then it got to the point, it was almost like, you know what? What's the point if they're doing all that? And so then we saw some people that were starting to raise their game and just realized it was so overshadowed that they didn't take it any further. But this is I got to tell you a true story. This is the best part of this whole thing. So I moved myself and a buddy, 26-foot moving truck, drove it from Jersey down to Florida. The back 10% of the truck was loaded with all of those Halloween props, okay? Because the first stop was going to be in a storage facility down there to store that stuff for this season. And while I'm unloading it, there are people there just milling about in their little storage units, going in there, and they got their little bins, and they're getting something out and putting something in. And here I come wheeling off all of these things. I've got Jason Voorhees. I've got skeletons, witches. I got body parts I'm dragging back into the storage unit. And these people are looking at me. I know they were thinking, no one asked me this, but I know they were thinking that I must run some sort of a company and I sell this stuff because there's no way any human being could have that much Halloween stuff. And now that stuff is just packed tight. And I'm talking every square inch of that storage unit is filled solely with Halloween props. And they're all in there probably going, what's going on, man? It's our time of year to shine. It's not happening this year. But next year, I'm unleashing hell on my new community.
I'm not buying this. I refuse to believe that Tim Legler is capable of sitting out a Halloween.
You're just going to sit it out?
You're going to scratch the itch a little bit. Come on, you're going to dress
look,
up.
I mean, it depends on your definition of sitting it out. No, we'll still partake, right. But the property in Jersey that we have now is at the shore. It's down in a small town down near Cape May, and it's very desolate this time of year. There's just no one around. So we're going to sit out there like we always do. We'll be dressed up. We'll have our pumpkin with our wine inside of it. The wine will be flowing like it normally is, and no one's going to come by. That's the only problem, because there's just very few trick-or-treaters or anything like that at the shore towns that far down at the Jersey Shore, at the beach, from this time of year on. There's just nothing going on. So we'll still partake. There's just not going to be a whole lot of activity and very few people to scare.
Legs, the people that you sold the old house to, did you make them aware of how high you set the bar for Halloween?
I did, absolutely.
You did?
Yes. And actually, one of the people, there's a couple people, I guess, went on together, had seen the segment with you guys many times. So they knew exactly what the standard was set.
Did you bump up that price?
Because we sent out emails to our friends in the neighborhood and said, listen, hey, openings are there now. Whoever wants to seize Halloween. And actually, we threw the best Christmas party in the development, too. We went all out for Christmas, and our Christmas party was phenomenal. That's gone now, too. So there's some depression amongst our great friends, but I also think some of these women are they're wrestling for control of who can grab those two holidays now from us.
Tim, I'm legitimately crushed. I was prepared to send an onslaught to your home to do Halloween. I was prepared.
Well, let me ask you something. Can we set it? Can we get this next year? Can we just let's get?
I think so. Right? You're
now.
saying where
about Christmas?
Where would we be going? Where would we be doing a live show, the entire show from Tim Legler's Halloween house? Because we do need to make up for what's happened here, because I wanted to unleash Meadowlark resources upon your property here, not just Billy Gill, but an army to deliver Halloween correctly. And it just wasn't possible because you're a lovemaking machine.
Baby.
Well, listen, and as much as I love it and I'm into it, the only person I've met in my lifetime more into it is my wife. So this is equally as upsetting to her. Now, some of the things we've maintained, like Halloween, the movie, is on a continuous loop in our house for a month straight. I've probably already seen it at least 25 times. The month started, that's still continuing,
right.
And but what you're used to with us, particularly on that day. That's not going to happen. But listen, it's in Florida next year, so I think we should.
No,
be able
we
to
have
make
to
this
do it.
happen.
We have to make a
Wait,
commitment.
So your wife is upset. Does she regret that night 9 months ago? I mean, what's going on here?
Come on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. No.
He's laughing.
No, there's a baby
They
coming in.
discussed it.
There's a baby coming into the world.
Well, I guess, yeah, maybe rethinking the timing a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm also worried, and not that my Washington football team's anything special, but as a season ticket holder, I think I'm the only person that's been to all 4 home games so far. And Tom Brady's coming in a couple of weeks, and I was like, listen, I know it's like 10 days or so before you're supposed to deliver, but I'm going to the damn game. Just so you know, I'm going to the game. Like, get your mom over here. Whatever you got to do, if this thing happens early, I will be at the game. So it's the timing overall for our favorite time of the year. It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
We did want to talk some basketball with you because we were talking about the Nets, as we often are, and I vastly underestimated. It's only 4 games, but I feel like I vastly underestimated the impact of rule changes on James Harden.
You and I both, Dan. And I'm somebody that thinks I would have caught that. I saw the rule change. First of all, I celebrated it because I just couldn't stand what it had become every night, watching these guys flop and flail around at the 3-point line and throwing up shots that have no intention of being made. They're solely trying to draw fouls. I'm so glad they instituted the rule, but man, did I not see the impact it was going to have psychologically on James Harden. I think he is going to adjust. He's going to have to adjust. There's a combination of things going on with him. That's one. The other thing is, and he said it last night, and I kind of agree with this. I see it because I dealt with it. He's not ready to go full throttle because he still remembers what that hamstring felt like, and he just is not there yet mentally to just go all out with his acceleration, his burst, his push, and he's kind of nursing that thing a little bit because he's worried about re-injuring it, and I get it. So the combination of the two things leads to this. He's just had 3 consecutive games that he has not had on this level in a decade. That's how bad he has been to start the year. And the lack of calls and now the concentration level and how different it is. And I saw it again last night, times where he's taking his arms and he's thrusting them out in front of his body where the sole focus is on that and not on finishing the play. And it's the same thing with his 3-point shot right now. He's not focusing on making the shot. He's focusing on getting contact, and it's starting to really permeate now his psyche, and he's going to have to make this adjustment. We can't judge them until this Kyrie situation resolves itself one way or another, like fully judge this team. But in the meantime, this has been fascinating to watch because there's no question he, more than any other player, has been dramatically affected by this.
How good are the Heat legs?
They're really good, man. They're my dark horse to go to the finals. I think they went out and they got so much tougher and smarter. And defensively now, some of the things they can do defensively individually in a league that's not really predicated on defense, I think they have multiple ways to win games. And a lot of teams don't. They're going to put up a number. Nets and Lakers at the top of that list. They're going to put up a number every night. And then they think you can't match that number. But it has nothing to do with dictating to you what we're going to let you do offensively. Teams actually really look forward to playing the Lakers. Everybody does, because you can do whatever you want to do against them. Nets are similar. The Heat, different. They can have nights where they shoot a horrible number from the 3-point line and still beat you because of the way that they're going to defend you. I love their offseason acquisitions, and I think that's the team I look at. I think Milwaukee is still, to me, the most finished product we have in the league right now. Everybody else is a work in progress. I would put the second team on that list in terms of as close to what right now, what we know they will be is the Heat. I think what you're seeing is what they're going to be all year, and that might be good enough.
And Lakers look really old to start the season.
Yeah, they're old, and I think last night was really telling, man. You blow a 26-point lead to a team that is going to win 20 games this year. That's a really bad sign. Now, LeBron didn't play. Their collective IQ last night was as bad at the end of a game as I've seen in a long time. They had 3 possessions down 3, and their sole intention was to take a forced 3 with a lot of time left in the game. I mean, no concept of drive the ball to the rim, let's cut it to 1, and then play the foul game and extend the game. 2 of those, by the way, were out of timeouts. And out of timeouts, Frank Vogel wanted a pull-up 3 by Westbrook and a pull-up 3 by Malik Monk with a ton of time in the game. So their IQ, not great. I think the biggest problem, what you just alluded to, the age, what they did is they brought in a bunch of guys they think are going to pay dividends in the postseason. The problem is there's absolutely no priority on the regular season. And they just think, well, if we're healthy April 15th, it'll be fine. We have LeBron and AD. We're going to be okay. Problem with that is I don't think you win 3 straight series on the road in the Western Conference. I think the top of the West is good enough that one of those series, you're going to lose the first 2 road games. And now you're not winning 4 out of 5. So they're going to dig themselves a hole because they just don't care that much about the regular season. And, Russell will win some games on nights LeBron sits. That's a benefit of having Russell Westbrook because he's good enough to do that. But overall, the mentality has nothing to do with the regular season. And so I am concerned about what I see because I thought the Lakers and Nets prohibitive favorites to go to the finals. And right now, they're a long way from where they need to be before that's a sure thing.
Are you buying the Bulls?
Yeah, they're good. There's some teams in the East I'm excited about. The Bulls would be one of those teams, like Bulls, Charlotte, Washington. I like all 3 of those teams the way they look early. Of the 3, the Bulls are the most legitimate because you think about what they have. They've got an explosive, athletic, 3-point shooting wing in Zach LaVine. So that's a guy that's 25 to 30 every night you can pencil it in. Now they have another guy that you can operate through in the half court that's a great mid-range player in DeRozan and can get to the line and can control games. A very talented big in Vucevic. And then they go out and they bring in a guy like Lonzo Ball who only exists to make guys look better. The ball hops, it moves. Caruso, brings in that's just that skin on the floor mentality and that toughness, and he won. I really like what I'm seeing out of Chicago early. Like, that's a team that I think legit. They're going to be a team that's probably going to be in that 4, 5, 6 range in the Eastern Conference and be a team that can give somebody at the top of the East all they can handle in a first-round playoff series.
We're going to have to apologize to LeVar.
Apologize to who? LeVar? Never.
His kids are good, though, man.
Are his kids unbeaten? Are his kids undefeated this season?
I think Charlotte lost.
Let me tell you something right now. At the 100th anniversary of the NBA, when we list the top 100 players, his 3 kids could be ranked 1, 2, and 3, and I would not apologize to LeVar Ball.
Okay, very good.
Really?
I love your conviction on this.
Best 3 ever.
Did you have any passionate opinions on the top 75 list?
Yeah, look, I mean, here's how I always feel about these kind of lists. I feel like people that come off so argumentative and demonstrative that they know. They're the expert. I can definitively tell you this guy should be off and this guy should be on. I think it's crazy. It's so opinionated. It's so subjective. Different eras, different positions, different responsibilities, different game entirely. The way the game itself is played and officiated and just what the priorities are. It's just so different. So I'm not big on saying, oh, this guy shouldn't be on. But if you want to ask me guys that didn't make it, do they have a legitimate right to claim to be on it? I like that discussion. And I think, Klay Thompson's name obviously is at the top of that list. And I'm perfectly fine with Klay Thompson being in there somewhere. I just don't like saying, well, if he goes in, this guy's got to come out. I just think it's disrespectful to the player that somebody, his body of work is enough to be on that list. Who knows definitively that one guy's better than another when they're 35, 40 years apart, completely different positions in the nature of the game is unrecognizable. Like, I don't think that's fair to do to these players. So I don't mind having the discussion about guys that didn't make it. Do they have a valid argument why they should be? Yeah, I'm okay with that. And I think Klay Thompson would be in there.
Tell me something good about my Knicks. Anything.
About the Knicks?
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I can't imagine Tom Thibodeau, this guy that in Chicago, literally had no idea how to run an offensive set and had to get all this help to bring guys in to show him even, what basic offense looked like because he was all about the other end. And now he's coaching a team that is record-setting 3-point shooting team to start the year. It just kind of blows my mind what he must be thinking every night. But he adapted to it. They went out and they added a lot of firepower, and they added proven commodities in the backcourt with Fournier and Kemba. And I think what you're seeing is Fournier is a guy that, he looked terrible in Boston because he just never fit in. Everything's run through their forwards, and he just was trying to get out of the way, and people kind of beat him up, and who was he as a player? This is who Evan Fournier was in Orlando. He's a very consistent shooter, scorer. He's empowered. Kemba Walker just brings so much energy and joy to your locker room and a bounce because he likes being there. A great teammate. So they really elevated their roster, and they needed to get guys that you can win games with on given nights where Julius Randle doesn't play well, which was not the case last year against Atlanta. He was really bad offensively. They had no other options, and they got bounced in an upset. And I think now they have solutions if that kind of stuff is happening. I really think they got something going on. And by the way, you guys agree with me on this? There is no place better as a fan to watch a game on television than watching the Garden when it's like this. There's just nothing that compares to it in basketball.
The Mecca.
Than watching that kind of electricity. It's phenomenal for the league.
Tim, we are happy to hear your voice. We are disappointed that we're going to have to go this entire life having bad feelings towards your unborn baby. And I don't feel great about that.
We better get a note next year that says I'm back.
On a good note, next year, think about the possibilities of what we could put as far as a costume on an 11-month-old baby. You let your minds race now.
Okay.
You've already thought about it.
Well, we're going to have to do some real repair to our relationship
Exploitative.
with the baby. So, but we are thrilled. And can you just tell this region of Florida, this neighborhood, what's coming for them? Because I want them to understand that it's not just you, it's going to be us as well. What's coming to your neighborhood next Halloween?
Well, all I can say is your children will never be the same, nor will their psyches.
Yes.
And I would go ahead right now and I would start researching child psychologists.
Yes.
Because we are going to be in your children's dreams. That's all I got to tell you.
All right. Very good.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, we are going to haunt. We're going to haunt a region of Florida more than we already do Miami. Thank you, Tim, for being on with us.
All right, guys. Anytime.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
I mean, you do.
Yeah, I know. I look.
You don't look like a Heisman trophy.
That's
I'm
well.
not even certain you paid off your grid of death. We'll try again next week.
Stugotz says that I don't look like the Heisman Trophy so much that I didn't pay off my grid of death penalty because I had to go gold instead of bronze.
Yeah, that's a good decision.
Yeah.
But Mike, he's saying that
How much longer?
he's saying I have to redo the penalty.
I'm
because
not saying
like
that. I'm saying that Billy is the commissioner of this thing, and I told him what was going on, and he's very upset about it.
You've
So,
only had one. You've only had one penalty, and it was bullshit. we just worked around. Yeah, you lied the entire show. Boom.
yeah, you're right. I should shut my mouth now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm still waiting on your poetry session.
from 3 years ago,
Roses are red.
4 years ago.
How much longer will I be hosting the Dan Le Batard show with Stugotz? This is my pledge to you, okay? And I'll let you go. I know you got to get back to work. I am going to work as hard as I can to help you get what you rightly deserve, okay? I'm not guaranteeing it, but I am going.
You just said nothing.
No.
I think those are two stronger ones. And then there's how much longer will Brady play? Was this one funny?
No. I mean, she said 50, which
All right,
is
so I'll get rid of
me
that.
going, he just said that. He just said that. He just said that. You
All
know,
right, so
even though she Googled it.
tarot card reader telling you how much longer you have on the show, and you talking to the Brady Ball guy saying you'll get him more. Just obviously bullshitting. All right, so we have those clips. I've got helmet pool. Do we have lines? Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have Bimmel?
Go ahead.
Okay, so no
get him.
Bimmel.
We'll get him during it. Whatever.
All right, sure. We'll get him during it then. Okay, we'll do it live.
Are there buys this week?
Yeah, there's buys.
I forgot to write down the buys. 1 second.
I'll just tell you what they are.
Raiders and what? Raiders and Ravens.
Raiders, Ravens. Okay.
R&R. Okay, here we go. Dan. All right, there's Bimmel. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Okay. All right,
Hey.
Dan, take it away.
before we go to the bucket of death, and now Bimmel and John Skipper are going to have to go to the bucket of death as well here because they just walked into the room. Before we do that, we have some sound from Stupidity. What's happening here, Mike Ryan? Set up the clip. You talked on Stupidity to an oracle, a psychic. What did you talk? Who did you talk to?
We spoke to a tarot card reader, a witch, and a ghost hunter. Okay, it's Halloween week, Dan, so that's who we spoke to. Now, the witch has beef with the tarot card reader. The witch doesn't believe, well, she thinks that tarot card readers are a hack.
Oh,
they can
really?
tell you whatever they want
frauds,
to tell you. Yeah, they're not really reading cards.
She doesn't respect her black magic bona fides.
But Stugotz did, and he asked a tarot card reader a question that I think this show might be interested in.
How much longer will I be hosting the Dan Le Batard show with Stugotz?
Including if it goes to a different format. Okay.
Yes.
Definitely let me know when to stop.
Okay. No, I should be the one that tells you when to stop,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, stop.
All right. Don't do that, Billy.
No. But you put a ghost in my house.
I did. But all right, stop. Oh boy.
Cards flipped around on that.
Uh-oh.
I like that you're not the star of the show though. Yes, you are the star of the show? No, you aren't.
Depends who you ask.
Yes and no, right?
You ask Stugotz, it's him. If you ask anybody else.
So I'm Stugotz, and let me answer this one.
He has a with.
The name of the show is the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. Okay,
Yeah.
so that would suggest
got it. Okay.
I am not the star of the show, right?
Okay. I think I get you definitely 17 days.
Wow, hell of a run, Dano.
17 days? Definitely 17 days before this all blows up. What kind of horror is headed our way? Okay, very good.
Now, the witch said that the tarot card reader's a hack. Don't believe anything she says.
Okay, well, but 17 days.
Is this your farewell tour?
Should we do a countdown? Should we do a countdown?
Good fun, guys.
Stugotz's last 17 days with the show.
And just be careful. She didn't exactly say how you leave the show. It could be tragic.
Could be anything.
It could be the heaters.
Mm-hmm.
Stugotz also hunted down the catcher of the 600th football. A lot of people were making fun of him for just giving the ball back.
Mike Evans caught it. He gave it to a fan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We spoke to that fan.
An excellent correction. Mike Evans is not on Stupidity. The fan who got
that would have been
it.
impressive.
Right. Now, he will be on God Bless Football tomorrow.
Not
okay?
Mike Evans.
No, not Mike Evans.
Okay, so
This is a better get than Mike Evans, honestly.
Okay, and you talked to him, and how did that go? Where did that conversation go? Because you thought he was a fool and a sucker and needed to get lawyers because he gave that ball back for $1,000 gift certificate, and then it was reported later that the Bucks gave a couple of years of season tickets and some other things because the ball was worth between $500,000 and $1 million.
Funny you asked. We have a clip. This is my pledge to you, okay? And I'll let you go. I know you got to get back to work. I am going to work as hard as I can to help you get what you rightly deserve. Okay, I'm not guaranteeing it, but I am going.
You just said nothing.
No, listen again. I have people firmly entrenched inside that Buccaneers organization. I'm going to have my people talk to Tom's people, and perhaps Tom people they'll talk to you, and they'll up the ante. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I will not embarrass you. I promise you. What I will try to do is get you an extra $500,000.
Who do you have embedded at that organization? Mark Budine?
I mean, Brady was on my podcast. I mean,
I don't even understand.
And I'm friends with the Gronks.
I don't understand what you're doing. You're so slimy and awful.
I feel so bad for this guy, Dan. I feel like he was pressured by the Bucks organization.
You once said you were going to work your fingers to the bone if Dwayne Wade played a minute in Cleveland to make sure he never got a statue in South Florida.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You don't do anything though. The working of the finger to the bone.
Do you see a statue?
You just chew on your tongue. Is all you do.
When's the statue day?
Okay.
Huh?
There's
the
not
unveiling.
a statue yet.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. That's because I'm working on it.
All right.
Yep.
Very good. Yeah. Let's go to the bucket of death, this infernal thing that has me dressed like C3P overweight.
That's the one you like best, huh?
No casual Thursday this week for Reaper.
Here is Tony rummaging around.
Got the Patriots, Dan. The Patriots are, yikes, against Chris's Chargers.
They are a 5-point dog
on
the road.
Yeah, not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not feeling it.
I've got gold paint all over my glasses, so I can't read these lines from draft lines. Or DraftKings.
DraftKings.
Ooh, you got that quick. I would have dropped the hammer.
Actually, you know what? Not bad. I have to stick with the Eagles, but they're playing the Lions.
All right. What do you mean? That's a great pull, right
Lions
there.
are due. No, Lions are due.
The Eagles are on the road, and they are a 3.5-point dog at the Lions. I don't love that. I don't love having that.
You don't love anything.
There's
in
nothing
this.
good in
I
that.
think that's an upgrade over the
Against the
Patriots.
Lions? You always want
That's an
whoever's playing
upgrade.
the Lions.
He upgraded.
Who wants to root
upgraded,
against Man
but-
Campbell?
Right.
He
That's a good
upgraded, but I
point.
wouldn't feel confident in that pick. Chris
The
Whittingham,
Wizard of Oz helmet.
Lions, Bears.
All right,
All right, Woody.
we're gonna stop the show because the last time.
Woody, I have some college teams for
Okay,
you.
please.
Clemson's playing Florida State. LSU has a bye. Baylor's playing Texas.
All right, so
The
just take
Lions
LSU. Done.
There you go.
Wow.
You did that a lot more normal this week.
Way to go, Whittingham. Congratulations.
Way to go.
Nobody likes it.
Is that your first win?
You're learning.
I'm learning.
Nobody likes it when Whittingham or anyone around here wins and doesn't suffer.
Yeah, I threw back the Falcons last week and they promptly won.
All right, here we go.
For the record, Chris, before you pick here from the bucket, Bimmel owes a punishment, correct?
I believe he has to
Bimmel
shave
on-
my dad's back.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Oh,
welcome,
wow.
Welcome
Thanks
to
to
the
our friends at
company. Welcome
Manscaped.
to
You
the
chose that?
Welcome to the company, Bimmel.
All right, here we go. I like a rummage.
Rummaging.
All right. I got the Bengals.
That's a good one.
Ooh, minus
Jets.
10.5 at
You
the
take
Jets.
that and
Yeah,
you
I'll-
run.
I'll
Yes.
keep it.
It is time now for
Jets.
John Skipper to choose from the bucket of Jets.
Let's get
Joe
Mr.
Burrow and
Skipper
Joe
by a microphone.
Flacco.
Dan, is there a technique involved in this?
Rummage.
Yeah, you're gonna want to rummage.
Swap.
Take Greg's money. Take Greg's money.
Oh my
Take
God.
Greg's money.
That's one of the
Take
best
Greg's
helmets
money.
that you can have. You can take
Wait, he can swap
anybody
the buy,
else's
too.
money. You can take anyone. This is crazy. This is a very successful helmet.
But he also gets to wait and see what everyone else pulls, no?
I think. Wait, do we think $100 means anything to John Skipper?
No. So, John,
an
you
instant
can.
death. An instant death.
Wait. Here's what I want to do. I already know. I'm not waiting.
Okay.
I am going to, as a New York Jets fan, I'm going to trade and take the Bengals.
Wow.
Smart man.
I mean,
And that way,
I think you should wait, patient leader,
Well-
until you see what all the other helmets are, because you
Well,
can choose any of
he
them.
you
needs to
know how
pick.
patient I am.
Wait,
Yeah.
time out. Whittingham's
there's
going to
already-
be mad at me. There's a bye week. You could just, you're done.
Wait, no.
LSU.
What are you talking about?
LSU.
Good points, Stugotz.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
Whittingham. Nothing good ever happens to Whittingham here.
Before you make your
I'm-
decision, you have to pull out another helmet so we know what the other person is swapping with.
Whittingham,
Witty.
this is going to end in something terrible for you. This bucket does nothing
Bears.
but.
He's got the Chicago Bears.
Are
The Bears play the 49ers. Bears have been a weird team.
4-point dogs at home.
Oh, God.
All right, so I guess we'll wait on the decision, or do you want to swap already with the LSU Tigers or the Cincinnati
I'm going
Bengals?
to swap because I can't lose.
That's
Wow.
correct.
Correct.
But you-
more certain.
Correct.
He
Oh,
is more certain
Whittingham.
the Jets losing than a bye
I'm
week.
happy.
poor
No, if the
Whittingham.
Jets win, I'm happy.
Okay, very
Okay.
good.
If they
He's made the
lose-
trade. He's
Good
allowed to make
old-fashioned
the
Oh,
emotional
wow.
hedge.
He let
Okay.
you off the hook, Woody.
I was,
Yes.
was hoping you'd value $100 more.
Yes, an instant death.
Who invited Skip?
How much money would have to be in that bucket for Skip to make that swap?
Let's move to Bimmel here. Bimmel, what you got to get near a microphone. You got to go rummage around in the bucket. You're already a one-time loser and really a lifetime loser by having to shave Greg Cody's back. I'm really sorry about
Try
that.
cutting his toe.
It's really unpleasant.
If I lose twice, is there another body part of Greg?
Oh, baby.
Wow.
To be determined.
To be determined.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe two backs instead of another body part.
KC.
The Kansas
That
City
used to be a great
Chiefs,
helmet.
that used to be a great helmet.
They're
Yes.
pretty hefty favorites at home Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. The Chiefs seem to get right against the NFC East.
All right, that one is a good helmet to have.
Do they, Mike?
A 9.5-point favorite.
2-0 against the NFC
Giants.
East
So
so
let's
far.
go to Jessica here.
Right,
Jessica,
sorry.
go ahead and rummage around in the bucket.
My fingernail got stuck on one. 49ers
So they
against my Bears.
they are 4-point favorite against the Bears.
I don't know about that.
On the road.
They didn't look so hot the other night. I'm putting it back.
Putting back a favorite.
Wow.
Dicey proposition.
Crazy, Smetty.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You're just scared, right? You're just
The whole
scared.
Just
bucket
scared.
is all
You're
that
scared.
scares us.
Yes, that's all it is.
Pressure. The Broncos?
Denver Broncos have the Washington football team. The Denver Broncos, I believe, have lost 4 straight, but they are a 3-point favorite at home against a bad football team.
They're due.
Upgrade.
I always read WFT as WTF, and I should, correct? Like,
Yes.
that's what's happening to everybody,
They should change
right?
the name,
Especially
yes.
with what's happening recently.
Yeah.
WTF.
They should change the name to just WTF. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and reach into the bucket. What do you got?
Carolina Panthers.
Oof.
You don't get a sound effect for you when
Sorry.
you pull anything out? There it is, the pageantry of our show. The Panthers are a 3-point favorite at the Falcons. Or is that, no,
3-point
dog.
underdog at the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think this is that bad of a helmet, but I'm going to roll the dice.
Okay, he doesn't want
Why
it.
did I put back the 49ers just now? What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mike,
Mike, nice.
rattled.
Excellent, Mike.
Cowboys.
Off a bye.
They're playing the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to be a hard game. Quite honestly, I would have rather kept the Carolina Panthers.
Really?
They're
Yeah, I
on
know
the
that.
road,
Wow.
and they're a 2.5-point favorite on the road. So here we go. All the lines brought to you by DraftKings. Stugotz, it is your turn now.
Someone needs to choose for Billy. Who wants to do that?
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's go and bring it over here because Billy's not here today. Thank you.
Yeah, Jess
Stugotz.
already called the shot, so Jess will
Please
will
stop
All right,
shouting
this
at
is
the
for
Reaper.
Billy.
Roy is not picking because he is now entering his second week at the Golden Helmet of Life protection.
Congratulations.
Ooh, I got the Dolphins playing the Bills.
Chuck it back.
The Dolphins are at the Bills, a 2-touchdown
A huge
underdog.
Dolphins fan.
No,
Keep
I
it.
think
Yeah.
Billy might.
No.
He's a Finn.
Okay, I'll put it back.
Don't do
Golden
that.
rule. Golden rule.
Oh. Have some
That's
decency.
very nice of you.
That is almost
Have
certain
some
death.
decency.
The Packers, the tanking Packers.
Wow.
Tackers.
They're a 6-point dog right now against the Arizona Cardinals.
That game is tonight.
Exciting.
No wide receivers available for the Packers. They got
You're welcome, Billy.
They got that Tonyan guy running around
Yeah.
out there.
I believe he pronounces it Tonyan.
He does.
Yeah,
Fine.
Big Bob.
Yeah,
$20.
no, it's just weird because it is a no, but Big Bob Tonyan.
20.
That is not a $20 fine. I don't know
go,
why
Big Bob.
you think it's funny to continually fine me for more than is a finable amount.
Rummaging. I love a good rummage. Let's see what I can find here. Ooh. I got a helmet, Dan. I got one. It's in my hand. The Patriots.
The
Nope.
Patriots 5-point dog at the Chargers.
Putting it back. Here we go. I like a lighter rummage on the second go around.
Mm-hmm.
That's your strategy.
Yes.
play.
Yeah, lighter rummage. Lighter.
Seems similar to the last one.
This is so.
Seems longer
Such
than
an
all the
aggressive
I
others.
got it. I
rummage.
got it. I got it. Oh, wow. I have the Arizona Cardinals.
He always puts the helmet
God,
below
let's
the
football
table.
head to
It's
head.
like, what's going
to see it?
He
Yes.
allows
It's
for
the
some
slow.
sleight of hand.
It's the slow reveal of the hand that
Yeah.
really
It's
pisses
a
me off.
It's a surprise to him. It's a surprise to
Well,
other.
I guess sad news for J.J. Watt, but good news for you. You don't have to root for him tonight anymore.
Out for the year, right?
Oh my God.
He's always out for
What
the
did
year.
you
got
get,
the
Dan?
Seahawks. They're playing the Jags.
I would keep that helmet. I know it's Geno
but
Smith.
It's Geno Smith.
You
What?
cannot,
I mean,
no.
Fine, I'll take it. I'll
You're-
keep the
Whoa,
helmet.
a
You're
fair
keeping
word.
Geno
Dangerous game.
Smith?
Jags
Fair
are
word
due.
of
I chuck
warning.
it back.
You gotta chuck that back, Dano.
This is Urban
Urban's
Meyer
due.
off a bye.
Traveling across the country.
You guys would put this back?
Look at Dan caving to peer
I mean,
pressure.
don't come to me for advice, but I chuck it back.
In the history of the NFL, this has to be the longest distance traveled between games because they were in London last week. They had the bye week last week. They were in London 2 weeks ago. Now they're in Seattle.
I'm
Right.
keeping the helmet. I'm going to keep it.
Wow.
But I'm also going to give you the pleasure of reaching in here and what I would have had if I had not kept
I
it.
love a good hypothetical.
And I would have had the
pointless.
Vikings at home
So
against the Cowboys.
would you're happy
I
with
think
that,
you feel
right?
good.
I'm
Yeah,
okay.
you feel good.
I feel as good as I can when I'm a golden fat man in a costume that doesn't look anything like the Heisman Trophy. Yeah. Because I've already done this, and I hate this. Like,
Yeah.
I deeply
We
hate
all-
this. It
we
ruins
all
my
agree that
weekend.
you are indeed
I'm
fat.
uncomfortable with the sweat sticking to my body.
As you
I'm
should.
gold all over my hands.
As you should.
I believe Chris Cody said I looked like Curly from Larry Moe and Curly. Somebody just said that. I don't know. One of you just said that.
To be honest, it's the fact that your eyes and your lips are still skin colored that's giving me like the worst vibes with this whole gold
Yeah.
look.
It'd be funny to see you totally nude right now.
Let's do that.
Joe Burrow.
Just because like some places would be gold. I don't know. That'd be funny.
You think that that's a good comment to make while our
think
bosses
as long
are
as
in the
it's on
room,
the
Cody?
audio.
Happy happy to have Lisa Banks with us here. She's a whistleblower and employment attorney at Katz Marshall and Banks. And I talked a little bit yesterday about what Roger Goodell was doing publicly, choosing from among bad options to say publicly that the reason they're not showing us any transparency when it comes to the Washington football team and an investigation into sexual harassment in their workplace is because they want to protect the anonymity and the identity of the victims. It sounded absurd, but it's the PR strategy I would have chosen if my starting point was I can't see anyone seeing these emails. I will not allow it. I'm not going to be transparent about this investigation. So, Lisa, thank you for making the time for us because your expertise in this matter is comprehensive. It's thorough. How did you react to watching and hearing Roger Goodell put that out as a reason they're not going to be transparent with this investigation?
Honestly, I was outraged when he came out with that. It is so patently absurd and disingenuous. And just simply false. It's not true. He completely mischaracterized the wishes and the concerns of my clients. They wanted to understand the findings of the investigation. They wanted a report. So to say that he couldn't put out a report or any of the findings because, he wanted to protect them is ridiculous.
Who is he protecting?
Presumably, he's protecting Dan Snyder and the Washington football team. There's something in those findings that cannot see the light of day, and he's doing his damnedest to ensure that they don't.
They've hired you to present legal options to them. So, what are the legal options here as you're watching something that is just bold-faced image protection?
The legal options, they hired me to help them navigate this process of the investigation to make sure that they were not made targets by Dan Snyder, to protect them through that process and to get them to the end so that there could be some transparency and accountability for what they went through. And we did that and got to the end of the road fully expecting that we would see what those findings were, and obviously they were buried, so we didn't do that. Now our job is to continue to pressure all the various stakeholders that might have an interest in finding out what it is that the NFL is hiding, and that includes Congress currently, other owners, as well as corporate America, to keep the pressure on the NFL because I think everybody understands what they're doing here now. And it's just a matter of exerting whatever leverage we have to force them to do the right thing.
Well, what leverage do you have against an organization that powerful that is used to not having to do what anyone says they have to do, whether money involved or not? Congress is one of the stops here, but if they don't want you to see these emails, what leverage does anybody have?
Well, Congress certainly has leverage, and they have subpoena power as well. So if there are hearings, then people are going to be subpoenaed. And let me just say, it's not about just the emails. The emails have gotten all the attention because that's actually what we saw, the John Gruden, Bruce Allen emails. But the 150 people that participated in this investigation didn't go to the investigators with a lot of documents. This was about personal experience. So these emails, I think, are a sideshow in the sense that I don't think those are directly relevant to the allegations that have been made about Dan Snyder and the Washington football team. And so those emails could be released and they could be largely unrelated to what we're dealing with here. So what we need is Beth Wilkinson's findings. We need to understand what the witnesses told her, what she reviewed, what her conclusions were, what her recommendations were. And until we see that kind of information, we're not going to know whether the $10 million fine and Tanya Snyder taking over operations was sufficient. And I think we all know it probably is not. Right. So I don't have any firsthand knowledge, but I do have a theory. And I think the theory is that those emails came from Dan Snyder and his camp. They have a vested interest in laying the blame here at Bruce Allen's feet. I don't know about the John Gruden piece, but certainly he has been embattled with Bruce Allen and has been trying to lay this problem of the workplace culture at Bruce Allen's feet for months now. And I think these emails, which had been part of the litigation related to Bruce Allen, all of a sudden find themselves out in the public sphere. So I have to believe they came from Snyder. It makes sense to me, and it only benefits him. It certainly doesn't benefit the NFL.
Lisa, I don't know if you're familiar with the Jenner and Block investigation that came out in the Blackhawks organization earlier this week, but it was in stark contrast to the Wilkinson report that was done orally, like you said, about the Washington football team. And I'm wondering what your reaction is when you see one of these like extremely detailed, transparent investigations come out, and then, you know, your situation is then done in a much different closed door type of way.
Yeah, well, the Jenner and Block investigation is the way it's typically done. It's the way the NFL has typically done it. It's the way the New York Attorney General did it when she was investigating Andrew Cuomo. These investigations are long, they're detailed, and then they're provided. If it's a matter of public interest, they are provided to the public so the public can understand what happened and understand the consequences.
How rare is this? How rare is it to have an entity conducting an investigation, in your experience as a whistleblower and employment attorney, and for it to be kept this quiet? Excellent landline ring. Always appreciate a good landline. You should have a good landline.
Sorry about that.
No, you should have a good landline in your house. There should be multiple ways in all manner of emergency to reach you. But how rare is this in your experience?
It's very rare. Usually when you're doing an independent investigation, you want to release the results because you want people to understand that this was truly independent and that the results are accurate. So you don't often see investigations where the findings are reported verbally and not in writing, and that they're not released. It only happens when you don't want those findings to see the light of day.
What is your version of the truth here, Lisa, based on the people that you have talked to? What is you're closer to the truth than most of us are. And no matter what people think of you and your client, your version of events here is what?
Well, my version of events is based on the 40 former employees that I represent and the additional people that I've spoken to. And from that, I know that there was a pervasive culture of misogyny, harassment, and abuse at the Washington football team for 20 years. It happened at all levels of the organization, from top to bottom. And it was not subtle, it was not hidden. It was open and it was obvious. And nothing was done about it. And nothing was done about it until the Washington Post came out with its blockbuster reporting that revealed it. So, this was a culture that was driven and embraced by everybody at the Washington football team. And that's the scandal. And in my view, it is one of the biggest scandals of the Me Too era, particularly since there has been no transparency or accountability. And the efforts of the NFL to cover it up, to hide it, to sweep it under the rug is part and parcel of that scandal now. And now the focus is on why. What are they hiding? What I think they're hiding is that this went all the way to the top. And that Dan Snyder didn't just oversee this terrible culture, he was complicit in it. And I think for whatever reason, the NFL feels that they can't let that information out there.
Isn't the reason that Goodell works for Daniel Snyder, that the investigative arm and the punishing arm is an employee of the person being investigated?
Yeah, I mean, Goodell works for the owners, right? And he's beholden to them, so he has to protect them. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the reports that the NFL is happy to put out there involve players, Ray Rice or Tom Brady or any of the others who get investigated. They put out, 100, 200, 300-page reports about their misdeeds, but not this one. And maybe that's because Roger Goodell and the NFL are in the business of protecting the owners.
What's the worst of it, Lisa, from your investigating, from the work of your investigators? What is the worst of it that wasn't reported by the Washington Post? What are the details that are most galling that people don't know about because they have not been reported?
Well, I will tell you that all of my clients, or most of my clients, participated in the reporting of the Washington Post. And there really isn't anything that I'm free to share with you that hasn't been publicly reported, absent a subpoena. But, I think that the stories that we've already heard out in the public sphere of the harassment and the abuse, and, including the allegations specifically about Dan Snyder, and those I don't think are talked about enough, where he is asking cheerleaders to go up to a hotel room and get to know his friend better, or making very sexist graphic comments about the cheerleaders, or engaging in a $1.6 million settlement based on sexual assault allegations. I think sometimes in the reporting and the talking about this issue, we lose sight of that this really started at the top. And so it is a scandal, and the NFL is intent on burying it. And, we're trying to keep the pressure on so that doesn't happen. And I do think Congress has the ability now to force the NFL to do what it doesn't want to do.
And will it? Will Congress end up, what needs to happen here for Congress to apply the kind of pressure so that this is transparent?
Well, we need to get a few key individuals interested in this issue. And, I talked to a couple of people yesterday, in fact, that I hope will get on board and be interested with this issue. And once somebody gets interested, they'll be like a dog with a bone. And so we're going to hopefully have hearings on this issue. Subpoenas will be issued, and people will have to talk or explain why they're trying to dodge a subpoena.
What do you say to the people listening to this and saying, well, this isn't about fairness and whistleblowing. She wants to make money off of or whatever the accusations are going to be when an attorney is involved in something like this. What are the rebuttals for, no, I'm just protecting the truth here. This isn't about any nefarious other thing that you think this is about?
Well, the first thing I would say is I've done this work largely pro bono from the beginning. So this is not about money for me. It's not about money for my clients. Most of them don't have live legal claims. What they have done was put themselves on the line to shine a light on something terrible that has gone on for a long time, that has never been revealed before. So this is about shining the light on this kind of abhorrent workplace culture, and to say it can't happen. And if it did happen, there needs to be accountability. And we're in it for that. We need to draw attention to it so these kinds of things don't happen again. So a lot of my work happens pro bono because I think it's an important issue. And this, I think, is an incredibly important issue. So it's not about money for me, and it's not about money for my clients. It's about revealing the truth and making sure there's accountability.
And to be clear, your version of the truth is that Roger Goodell got up there this week and said a bunch of gibberish that is meant as cover up to protect. Like it's an absolute in your mind. There's no nuance or qualifiers there. The NFL is covering something up here. You just don't know what it is.
Right. His reasoning for this was just simply false. He absolutely can put out a report and at the same time protect the confidentiality of those who want it, because names can be omitted, they can be redacted, they can be anonymized. It happens all the time. So that's not news to anyone. And so for Roger Goodell to suggest that he can't put out a report for these reasons is simply false.
Lisa, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the illumination.
All right. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. I'm very excited, Stugotz, because our show can permeate some of the local sporting establishments in a way that is welcoming enough to allow Chris Cody to, well, it wasn't really welcoming. He broke into the Panthers energy team and was a part of it. And Mike Ryan is presently, I think, in negotiations with the Heat on something that I want to talk about. But I want to understand why Billy came into the studio and said something about, the word, it wasn't an oracle. It was you used a word while saying she's got a meeting that day, but we're going to get her on soon thereafter. Not an oracle, but a
tarot card reader.
Yes.
Yeah. There's
Halloween
a lot.
Week. Yep.
There's a lot going on, Dan, for Stupodity this week, and lots of moving parts. So if you're looking for Stupodity, it's normal day. It will be coming out a little bit later this week because the plans, as presently constituted, are having a witch, a tarot card reader, and a ghost hunter on for Halloween week.
How about that?
Lots of things though could go wrong.
Well, why is that not on God Bless Football?
That's a football show.
Yes,
Don't be
exactly.
ridiculous.
Yes, we have BJ Upton on there this week.
Exactly, and Jabba's coming back.
Anything else that the audience needs to know on the differences between God Bless Football and Stupodity?
Yeah, one has a witch and one has Jabba Chamberlain coming back to make football picks.
Right. The text I'm getting, hey, can you interview the witch today? Hey, can you interview the tarot card reader today? And hey, can you interview a ghost hunter tomorrow? Are all putting smiles on my face that, quite frankly, when I started out in sports radio, I did not expect. Thank you, Dan.
Billy, have you considered somebody from a local santero, like getting into the witch doctor stuff,
Dan,
Santeria?
come on,
Jeez, I mean,
I can't get him to commit to the witch who Stugotz his friends with, who dated one of his friends.
He says that he smiles every time he gets those texts, but he doesn't respond to any of them.
No.
No.
It's always, I'll let you know tomorrow morning, buddy. I'll tell you tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
How's the experience been, Billy? Honestly, can we get an honest appraisal? You were a little scared of producing this podcast or anything with Stugotz because I don't even know, because he just can be hard to wrangle.
Because
he knows me. That's why.
It's gone about as expected so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how wearying do you find it? Like, is it an exasperation? Like, there's nothing you can say, hey, I have a kid now. My life needs to have some more order in it. It can't just always be lies. Can you please help me produce your show? No?
I mean, I could say it, but it doesn't do anything. It's just saying it. Like today, for example, obviously I've kind of laid out what the idea is. A bit ambitious for a Halloween episode. But it's all going on at the same time. So Stugotz and I were like talking over times, like this person, that person is like, wait, are we talking about the witch or the ghost hunter right now? And when is the tarot card reader? And when is Gronk coming with possibly BJ up? Oh, that's another thing.
Right.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Or Stugotz last week. What do you mean, right? You don't even know where I'm going to go.
I know
with this.
exactly where you're going.
Where am I going?
You're going to Gronk.
You called Chris Gronkowski Rob 3 times last week.
I did.
When you can just go Gronk like you have.
I know. I don't know what happened. There's a lot happening in that Zoom when you got Mojo in there and you got Gronk in there and then you got Jabba Chamberlain and
camera wasn't
BJ
working.
Upton.
Yeah, it's just the whole
a
crazy.
Mojo, a Jabba, a Gronk.
Matthew Cherry.
This interview
Matthew Cherry was in a couple weeks ago.
This interview is being conducted on Tatooine.
Well, this is the Stugotz experience, though, right? It's just throw a bunch of garbage dump of celebrity over his left shoulder, and you have to catch it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you haven't heard the Mojo interview.
What are you
It's very
talking
funny.
about?
Yeah.
That dude's got it figured out.
Yep, he's
Yeah,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Be lucky if you got him as a celebrity.
He's the anchor of TMZ Sports.
Hold
That's
on.
right.
With Renee.
With Renee.
I was not insulting. Hold on a
It
second.
felt like you were.
Didn't sound like a
Dangerous
compliment.
game. Yeah.
Okay, tell us how when you called him the garbage of celebrity, you weren't insulting him. I'll listen.
I will explain that for you for a second. The Gronk brothers are not the celebrities you want on that podcast. Jabba Chamberlain are not and the people that you are getting are people of a certain level of celebrity that fit within the Stugotz universe of stupidity that is jocular and fun. And it's on purpose, a whole bunch of different people that have name recognition and identifying points that make them uniquely a place that you find them on Stupidity instead of God Bless Football, or that they're two different universes.
All these things sound very different than garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was
Thank you, Mike.
harsh.
Yep. It's all leading to Rob Gronkowski, by the way, and Big G.
And Steve Aoki,
Yeah, and
possibly.
Steve Aoki.
They have a Bitcoin company together. I think. I didn't really understand.
But how do you feel about him throwing a bunch of things over his shoulder into your lap?
Well, you know, it's part of the job.
Billy has said, you know what? The Stugotz philosophy of you don't know until you ask is something, now it's something he would never do, but I think he has grown to at least appreciate it a little bit, where I'm just not afraid to ask for BJ Upton once someone mentions his name.
Because when you have an opportunity to ask for BJ Upton, you don't let that moment
Mike,
fly
they
by.
were throwing water balloons at celebrities at a Gronk party that Gronk calls the greatest party in the history of parties.
To Dan's point, this is the first time I've thought about BJ Upton in 10 years.
Might have to settle for Justin.
To Dan's point, the point is that it's a party of people in sports you've heard of, wherever it is that Stugotz is gathered.
People in sports I've heard of, brothers.
This was a real house party.
Yeah.
And we're trying to
The
recreate
best house
the
party
house
in
party.
history.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you
Yes.
simultaneously get the least famous Gronkowski and Upton?
This is so rude.
Jabba.
I mean, I haven't heard a single Gronkowski on this show.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Nor a Jabba.
Get a Gronk, Dan.
Mhm, I dare you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear more as well about 10-Day Tony and the negotiations with the Miami Heat. I want people to understand where this story is headed. Tony doesn't totally get the show, and that he insists on everyone knowing how good he is, how much swag he has athletically playing basketball, and he wants
Dan, I'm going to stop you right there because that's part of you not getting the show, okay? And I'm not even going to look at you when I say this, okay? Because the whole I'm looking at Billy. Billy, you're on my team. Even though you're not, you actually been a very big critic of mine. So I'm going to look back at Dan.
Privately, though.
Privately, you still are a critic.
You can look at me.
What? Roy, okay. Dan, the reason why this is part of the enveloping of getting in the show is I understand that it's not part of the show, but I've made it part of the show. Therefore, it's part of the show.
Wow.
And again, if you want to address me or any of my negotiations, you talk to my agent, Mike Ryan.
Wow.
All
Okay.
right.
Jesus. All right. Well,
And
Mike
please
Ryan,
look at me next time.
Mike Ryan is advocating
Please don't ask Tony any more questions. Yeah, I had a high-level meeting at FTX Arena earlier this week where the Miami Heat were under the impression that the meeting was about something, and I made it about something else. The common shared goal of this show to get 10-Day Tony a 10-day contract.
What did they think the meeting was about?
It was about uniforms. We move on. It's about getting 10-Day Tony in a Miami Heat uniform and getting him an official tryout, because if you've paid attention to our social media handles at Batard Show on Instagram and Twitter, you know dude's shot is wet. 10-Day Tony.
At least
wet
the,
shot.
At least the edited ones.
Yeah. All makes.
Right.
Here, I have never seen
You,
Tony.
you guys see Mrs. on
I'll
Sports
handle it.
Center?
I'll handle it.
Okay.
I'll handle it. You don't have to answer these guys' question. I've never seen a single miss. Never seen my client miss one shot. On the basis of that, I think he deserves. That makes you.
And what
I'm
did-
not good at math.
and what
the
did they
greatest
think?
shooter ever.
Well, they say.
We're working on it. We're getting closer.
Worst case scenario, me and him play pig during halftime.
And he's not the only client that I'm trying to get to infiltrate the Miami Heat organization, Culture City over there. Parakeet Cortez might also have.
Oh, good
Oh,
Lord.
my God.
I thought you loved this team.
Yep. I am very close. Very close.
What's he
to
gonna be
announcing
doing?
Something very exciting when it comes to 10-Day Tony
Wow.
and the Miami Heat. A collaboration that's going to make our show better and ultimately the Miami Heat champions.
Holy shit. So these negotiations are going someplace.
I have legitimate faith in his basketball skills. While I would say the chances of getting an actual contract from the Miami Heat are probably somewhere in the 60% range, a little disappointing.
Wow.
I'm letting you work, though. I trust you.
I've got relationships there. I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody with a whistle in his mouth going, hot damn. They weren't lying.
Tony Gonzalez tried out for the Miami Heat, wasn't physical and big enough.
He wasn't 10-Day Tony.
Exactly.
This 10-Day Tony, he didn't have a 10-day contract, but Tony Gonzalez was never a member of
Tony
the Miami
Gonzalez
Heat.
wasn't Tony Collada
player.
either. Yeah. Have you seen this guy? Do you even check out our social media handles? Do you even
He doesn't
subscribe?
miss. He doesn't miss.
He does not miss. 100% of the time he hits. Do you even subscribe to our YouTube page that is nearing 100,000 subscribers?
Please subscribe.
You just keep saying, follow the YouTube. You do such a piss poor job of promoting it. YouTube.com. Lebatard and Friends is the channel. We've got about 100,000. We're inching towards it. I want to get 100,000.
Why are you yelling at me about how
because I go to bat for my clients.
Did you subscribe yet, Dan? Did you subscribe? Did you subscribe?
I am subscribed.
Yeah,
let me see. Let me see.
Let me
take a look.
Let me see.
It's on my television.
It's on
your
television.
What
You're
year
kind
is
of
this?
George got that smart TV. Yeah, that's smart
Smart
TV.
television. Why is everyone ganging up on me? This was about
Well, it's
10
because
Day
he
Tony.
insulted Mojo. Really.
Yeah,
That's where this all started.
You don't talk
And
that way
Chris
to Mojo.
Gronkowski.
Yeah, and Tony 10-Day.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony does do a lot of hanging around the perimeter. I don't see a lot of cutting in his game.
Right. Tony Gonzalez had a tryout with the Heat. That's what he had, and he savored it. He said.
This Tony has a tight end too.
Ooh, you can ask Izzy about that one. That's a different show, though.
Wait a minute. What?
Sorry.
Wait, what?
What?
I'll do
What?
all the talking for you.
Legal counsel.
Izzy
Legal
and I play
counsel.
football together.
He sure
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Izzy and I
yeah,
play
right,
football together.
I said you had. I said
Light
you
football,
had a
yes.
tight end.
Oh, I thought you said it was.
Yeah.
And then you said Izzy.
Then you said
Yeah,
ask
but-
Izzy.
But if you call
Ask
Izzy, I mean, we played
Okay,
football
but now
together.
you
Together.
understand
Yeah,
what
tight
happened.
end.
Save and abuse.
No, not a kick save and abuse. There's been nothing kick saved. We're still in the same place.
This is why
Tony
your-
says
this
I
is
have
why
a
your
tight
agent
end.
I mean,
speaks for you.
that's a
This
good
is
team, though.
why-
It's a good team.
Why are you still
Stand.
talking, Tony? You're going to be out of the league before you're in the league.
I'm just
you're,
saying.
you're quickly becoming an off-field concern.
Jesus
Miami Heat.
Christ.
Yeah.
I don't want you mouthing off to the media.